Hi guys, welcome to Sabi Ball once again. I remain the OG Sabali, and this is episode 3. And of course, welcome to the month of December. Should I say Merry Christmas? Guys, so call me and the guys, Merry Christmas, guys. They're not answering me, I don't know why. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them answering in the background, but yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone. And as always, yep, we Sabi Ball for here. A lot has happened in the last, I would say 48 hours or even 36 hours in terms of football, the FPL, and of course, football trending topics around the world. But it brings me straight to the FPL, and I'm sure a lot of managers are very, very disappointed in what happened with Erling Haaland in game week 13, where he actually dropped a stinker, against Leeds. He didn't score a goal. It was Phil Foden that came to the rescue. They won that game 3-2. And it's just been goals, 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 especially if you have City assets or City defenders. But somehow, some way, if you remain patient in FPL, you always remember that Erling Haaland is an anytime goal scorer in another game. He scored his 100th goal in the Premier League in 111 appearances against Fulham, away from home at Craven Cottage. That was a Premier League classic, I would say. The game ended 4-5 in favor of Pep Guardiola's side, and Erling Haaland came back to more or less redeemed himself. Yeah, so, he got the goal, gave 2 assists. Doku as well, for example, me that I'm playing FPL this season, I have Doku, and he gave 2 assists in that game. Foden again, if you have Foden, I'll be watching a number of you guys that have brought in Foden into your team. He's been delivering and seems to have woken up this season. And December is that juicy month for a number of FPL managers. Games coming thick and fast. Last night, we do know that Everton won away from home against Bournemouth. We saw the crack at St. James's Park between Spurs and Newcastle. That ended 2-2. If you have any Newcastle assets in Anthony Gordon or Bruno Guimaraes, they did score yesterday. If you did have Romero from Spurs, the Spurs captain scored 2 goals yesterday, especially with the bicycle kick, the second goal. Fantastic away draw for Thomas Frank's side. But, yep, I have to go back in time and back to that Super Sunday game. That very, very cracking derby, the London derby, Southwest 6. Southwest London against North London. It was Chelsea versus Arsenal, game week 13, and what a game that was. That was a derby. That was war. It wasn't football, guys. I mean, it was from the get-go, everybody was pumped, especially the Chelsea players, and you could understand why Moises Caicedo got that red card in the, I think, 38 minutes of the first half. A bit too pumped, very, very inexperienced tackle, I would say. But you see, sometimes we always look at it that if if we didn't put that tackle into slow motion, you would obviously feel that tackle was just normal and max, he would have gotten a yellow card. But once you slow it down, you see how nasty the tackle was. And yet, rightly so, he got a red card. As a fan of Chelsea, I thought we were losing that game, and I more or less said the game was over. But shout out to Enzo Maresca and the boys and how he set up the side. They more or less bossed that game, and what a performance from the captain, Reece James. I had him as an asset in my team, but somehow, some way, as a manager, I just felt Chelsea was going to concede, so I put Reece James on my bench. Tough luck for me. 8 points he gave, and what a performance. He bossed that midfield. They had the likes of Merino, Declan Rice, who did have a very good game, but wow. Reece James, with a man down, he took leadership. It was an outstanding performance. I don't even know what to call him now. Is he a fullback or is he a midfielder? It just reminds me of the likes of Philip Lahm that used to play as a fullback for Bayern Munich and Germany and could also play as a midfielder. Shout out to Kimmich too for Bayern Munich. So what we're seeing from Reece James this season is a player that has been rested well. His injuries are more or less behind him, and the manager has more or less taken care of him. The medical team have been fantastic towards Reece James, and what a performance he's given. They're playing Leeds away tonight, and if you do have Reece James in your team, I would advise you to bench him. As I said, they've been managing him and managing the games, and obviously his hamstring and all that. I doubt Maresca will feature me in this game. So, yep, Reece James is on my bench for this one. But yeah, Arsenal was shocked. Yes, they remain 6 points ahead, and that draw obviously gave a boost to Chelsea's title hopes. I said on a podcast that I was invited to last week, where I said if Chelsea do draw or win that game against Arsenal, then we have to count them in the title race. And yeah, we are in the title race. Call it a three horse race, whatever it is. Somehow, some way, I just don't trust City. But hey, you didn't hear it from me alone. I mean, they keep conceding goals, and 4 against Fulham yesterday was another shaky one. But again, we have to point out to the indiscipline in the Chelsea squad, where that red card to Moises Caicedo just comes to the amount of red cards we've received. Chelsea has received this season, which is 7 in total, including Enzo Maresca, who got a red card as well. 4 in the Premier League, 1 in the Carabao Cup, and 1 in the Champions League. That is a very indisciplined football club at the moment. And if you want to win silverware, I don't think with 7 red cards or with an indisciplined approach like that, you could win any silverware. If you go back in time to the 90s, I think the last team to win the Premier League or any major silverware was Manchester United, when they had 6 red cards in that season, and Alex Ferguson was the coach. So these days, where we have VAR and everything going on, and tackles as soft as a push, you could get yellow carded for it. The game is gone. But hey, for me, I just feel Chelsea need to tone it down. Inexperienced, some would say, and I felt Moises Caicedo was just overly pumped for that game. But whatever it is, on to the next one. Game week 14, I beg your pardon. Chelsea face a more or less resurgent Leeds United, who gave Manchester City a run for their money in game week 13. Let me just run through the games left for game week 14. I did mention earlier that Bournemouth and Everton played last night, and Everton got that away win. And Fulham, cracking game, Premier League classic, I'll call it, 4-5 to Manchester City, and a 2-2 draw between Newcastle and Spurs. For today, Arsenal, Brentford, Brighton, Villa, Burnley, Crystal Palace, Wolves, Nottingham Forest, and that one, Leeds United, Chelsea. Chelsea need to win to, of course, keep up the pace in the title race. But of course, we have to go back to what Savvy Ball is about in this episode. I have to move on to what exactly are you doing this game week 14? Are you captaining Haaland? Are you moving on to maybe Semenyo or Doku or maybe Phil Foden? Well, I stuck to Haaland, and for me, he's already delivered a goal and 2 assists, scored 100 goals, and hey, it's looking good for game week 15, which is already this Saturday. The games are coming thick and fast, guys. So if you're on the Savvy Ball League, this is the time to look at your team and say, should I play the chip? It's the best time to play your chips, man, because definitely the double game weeks are coming. Triple captains if you want to, or you want to play your bench boost, or if you want to try it out with the free hits, who knows? But remember, the triple captain is going to get nullified, null and void more or less by the end of December. So hurry up now and use your triple captain, because the next triple captain you use is for the next half of the league, which is in January. So yep, there goes that. What else? Yes, I know Enzo Maresca did mention the consistency of officiating and all that in games, and I mean, he did mention in his presser saying that why did Caicedo get a red card and Hincapié didn't get a red card for the elbow on Trevor Chalobah. The consistency has to cut across board, really. Bentancur had a similar tackle on Reece James when Chelsea played Spurs a couple of games ago, and he was yellow carded for that. So those are the inconsistencies that Enzo Maresca is calling in for. And sometimes I just question why referees and referees, especially Anthony Taylor, suspects. Every time he referees or officiates Chelsea games, it's just one controversy after the other. I'm really tired of this man. But hey, that's what I would say. But really, I'm just getting tired of it. Look, football is a game of passion. It's a game of everything. A game of blood, sweat, and tears, really. You know, I don't understand why referees or linesmen or the fourth official will call the referee's attention and say, oh yeah, you need to book this coach for just something for theatrics, or just not agreeing to a particular call made by the ref, and that particular coach gets a red card or a yellow card, you're killing the game, man. Where's the passion? Why are you so, just the same way? Hey, I mean, don't let me go back in time, but I just don't enjoy it. I feel you should allow a bit of, anger and a bit of passion exist on the touchlines. Allow people be people. You're making it too robotic when you're constantly booking players and officials on the sidelines, especially. We should preview game week 14, which I've already done. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Or preview game week 15, I would say. And but let me just keep it simple. I would say this: if you really want to know how to play this season now, I think the best thing you should do is actually go for your chips, as I said earlier. If you're lacking behind, the games are coming thick and fast. 2 games already this week, and already this Saturday, December 6th, Arsenal is facing Aston Villa. That's a bogey team for the Gunners. I remember 2 seasons ago, they were one of the teams that cost Arsenal that run for the title when they lost it to City. And Unai Emery just has a thing for his former employees. So guys, if you do have any Villa assets, I would advise you go for Morgan Rogers. Hey, I have a feeling Villa would concede, so maybe not go for Villa assets and defenders. Marty Cash has been doing really well this season. Ollie Watkins, anytime goal scorer. Hey, why not? But Morgan Rogers, a big player that I would actually go for in that one. Bournemouth haven't been doing too well. I mean, losing at home to an Everton that were plummeted, I would say, against Newcastle in game week 14 or game week 13, I would say. So not too sure if Bournemouth can resist the firepower of Chelsea. But hey, Iraola, we do know he turns up in the big games. I'll go for a 50-50 in terms of maybe just one Bournemouth asset and one Chelsea asset. If you have Enzo Fernandez or Pedro Neto, I think you should look out for those guys. They've been doing really well. Or maybe just stick to Reece James, who most likely will be back in that game. Everton, Nottingham Forest, Manchester City, Sunderland. That's a big game for Sunderland as well, away from home. Newcastle, Burnley, Spurs, Brentford. Thomas Frank has been struggling and is going against his former employees, the Bees. That will be a cracking game. Keith Andrews versus Thomas Frank. That's Oga versus assistant manager. Keith Andrews used to be Thomas Frank's assistant manager, the set piece coach, now been promoted to the head coach, and he's been doing very well for Brentford. That'll be a cracking game, a London derby. Look out for that. That game is for 4 o'clock on Saturday. And of course, it's a big one. I would say the Midlands, Leeds United against Liverpool. Liverpool have been shaky away from home. Let's just hope on a slot side, more or less wake up and try to at least give us a show. Try to defend your title. Liverpool. Jeez. I'm sure a lot of you don't have Liverpool assets anymore. Liverpool players. I mean, come on, man. The Champions League, Virgil van Dijk, handball. Anyway, moving on. Sunday is Brighton versus West Ham, and West Ham have been topsy-turvy this season. Draws. Nuno Espirito has kind of settled in more or less and taking the reins off the former manager there. And yeah, West Ham just getting it right in a way after getting rid of their former manager in what's his name? I can't remember his name right now, but the truth is, if you're going for any West Ham assets, I think it'd be better to go for maybe Jared Bowen. He just seems to be the only one that can get points for them this season. Fulham, home to Crystal Palace, another cracking derby. Looking forward to that. Fulham under Marco Silva this season just seems not to be scared of anyone. They are ready to score, and I like the fact that Iwobi is getting those goals. Samuel Chukwueze looks like an asset I am going to definitely go for in game week 15. That's 3 goals in 2 games. He was the man of the match in their last game. Sorry, the game before last night, and he scored 2 goals again against Manchester City. What a start to his career at Fulham. The Nigerian international is blowing in in flying colors, I would say. I just hope he keeps up that form for the Super Eagles come AFCON that is coming up in a couple of weeks. And on Monday, it's the last games between Wolves at the Molineux versus Manchester United. And yep, looking forward to that one for sure. I still have Mbeumo as an asset. I think this is the last week I'm going to give Mbeumo. If he draws a blank in this one, Alile, selling him, most likely going for Eze or maybe Anthony Gordon or maybe even someone from Liverpool if Liverpool do well this game week 15. Guys, I need to move on to some pressing issues, especially with what is going on with what's happening right now with the AFCON call-ups. A number of teams are inviting, or a number of countries, I beg your pardon, are inviting or drawing up that provisional list for their squad for the AFCON that's coming up in December 21st, I believe. And it's going to be a 28-man list from what CAF has told, from what CAF has shared. And we do believe that if you're going to drop a list, any FA, any serious FA really should be drawing up a list of a 33-man list. Or, Cameroon dropped their list 2 days or a day ago, and it was a 28-man list. And Andre Onana was dropped, this was a brave one from the coach there. And even Cameroon FA also sacked their coach in Bryce. So, but I need to point fingers at the Nigerian FA, which is the NFF. They released a 55-man list, and we have our camp opens in less than 3 weeks. The tournament starts in less than 3 weeks, and we're inviting 55 players. Yes, eventually it's going to be pruned down to 28, but come on. These are the issues. We're very unserious. I mean, drop a 35-man list, max, and prune it down. Why are you inviting 55 players? What's this hullabaloo? It's sad. We need to save Nigerian football. And for me, what is happening to Nigerian football now is really sad. I was just looking at the baby Eaglets? Under 15 WAFCON tournament. They got thumped 4-1 by Ivory Coast, but yesterday they won their game 1-0 against Benin Republic, I believe. And across all categories, Nigerian football is just doing horrible. We've heard stories from ON players from the Super Falcons and the Super Eagles, their allowances, their bonuses, owing the coaches. The former coach of the Falcons came out, released a number of old podcasts that just started trending again, talking about not even having camp for the World Cup in 2023. It's sad, but the truth is, we're going to keep on calling them out. And on this show, Sabi Ball, that is what you're going to see. Every now and then, we're going to call out the guys that are well invested, who are influential in our football, the FA, whoever, on how to run Nigerian football and how to save our football. And for sure, I'm looking forward to Eric Shell pruning down that squad list and at least letting us know who are the guys going to the AFCON. We got a silver medal at the last one that was hosted by Ivory Coast. We lost to Ivory Coast in the final 2-1. And it was a very defensive display under Jose Peseiro, the former coach. But let's see what Eric Shell's got. We're out of the World Cup qualifiers and playoffs or whatever. Back-to-back, Nigeria no make for World Cup. Really sad. But guys, also, before I end the show, I just want you to plead on you. You take a look at the screen and most for sure, not even most likely, you can check out our IG handle where I'm going to post out the link for Saving Nigerian Football, where we're calling out the NFF. And it's on change.org, where you can sign the petition on basically freedom of information. The NFF needs to share information of the monies they've spent over the years, sent to them by FIFA especially. What are they using that money to do? To develop the grassroots, to develop our national teams. What exactly is that? Every citizen in the world has a right to the freedom of information. And many people have written to the NFF in the past to ask for this kind of information, and they never get a response. So from what we're hearing now, a petition has been created. Shout out to Big Bird Mobike, who started this campaign. And I'm a proud member of that campaign, and I'm definitely going to be stepping on their necks and ensuring I've signed the petition. And as I said, check the link out on our IG handle. Please sign the petition so we can actually call for accountability. It's Sabi Ball. I remain the OG Sabali. I hope you enjoyed the show. It's peace and love.